Initial shooting with the 75 caliber Brunswick rifle. William Hovey Smith, 2014. I'm the author of Extreme Muzzleloading, and here we take the Brunswick rifle out and shoot a series of shots to see what this gun will really do.
This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman, and today we're going to do load development with the Brunswick rifle. In the previous video, we have taken our rebuilt Brunswick rifle, which now has a new stock, and taken it out and shot it for the first 3 times. Well, this initial shooting revealed some problems. One of which was the lock hung up at a half cock, like this. And so we had to make an adjustment on the lock, and I'll show you the details of that in a little bit. But after making that adjustment, we now have where it goes smoothly to half cock and full cock, and will fire without hanging up halfway between. Okay, so that's a definite improvement in the art. Plus, we also found that, as we knew, these Brunswick rifles and their belted balls are very individualistic so far as the exact size of the balls is concerned. And Jeff Tanner in England will make you a ball mold for your particular barrel. And this one needs it. This is another barrel from another gun. And it will actually shoot a smaller size ball than this one. Whoa. So when we load our new barrel and our new gun, we're going to have to use thicker and or double thicknesses of patch materials. So that's a little bit different. Now when we fire these first few shots through this gun, one thing we did between shots was take our 10 power hand lens here and examine in detail this area. And this line, which you cannot see at a distance, I realize, marks the breech from the barrel itself. And we look for any sign of gas seepage along this line. And we saw absolutely none. So we increased the load from 60 to 70 to 80 grains. And we found that a load of 80 grains, yeah, generates fairly stout recoil, yes. And with our filler materials and with our cardboard wad, the patches came through in really good shape. You'll notice here that the back of the patch here is almost clean. That means our cream of wheat buffer charge worked exactly as they are supposed to and prevented these patches from being burned and or shredded by going through a very, very rough barrel. So, the barrel on this gun is demonstrably smoother, so we should get better shooting results. And in fact, when we fired, we recorded hits from 2 shots, and they were located directly vertical over the point of aim, which is good, and about 2 inches apart. And considering the looseness of the patches, and these were the first rounds fired and all of this, yeah, that's pretty good for the old gun. So it shows promise of being able to do good work. So now we're going to go out to the range and sort of wring it out a little bit and see what we can really do. To give you a more detailed look about what we're talking about, now this is the breech area itself. And you can perhaps see at this distance this very definite line where the 2 join, and here are the index marks for the barrel itself. And so this breech, yeah, is unique to each rifle. And it does incidentally have a little subchamber that goes back to here that's about 30 caliber, so you need to clean this too when you clean this gun. And this gun has, as you can see, the much larger nipple for a musket cap compared to the number 10 caps that I'm using on the new rifle. Now, so far as the lock is concerned, these guns have sear springs here. And this sear spring must put tension on this sear bar right here. And if it doesn't, what will happen is the hammer will not stand on full cock, or it will hang up on half cock. This is what a patch is supposed to look like. It does have a small rip here because of a rough barrel, but it's not burnt out. And here is one that was fired through a barrel that was a little bit dirtier, so it has more black material on the outside, which is fine. Again, a small rip, so there's a little rough spot in it.
These old guns may be dangerous to shoot. Have them checked out before you use them.
But the back of the patch here is clean. And of course, here's the detailed shot of the belted ball of the Brunswick rifle. So now we're going to head out to the range. As before, we're going to fire a couple of percussion caps just to clear the gun. And previously we tried and it stopped on half cock. And what we found out, you have to make sure that when you pull the trigger, you pull it firmly to the rear, rapidly, and you keep it there, like that. If you try for a soft trigger pull, it'll hang up on the half cock notch. So now we proceed to load. And we're going to do a change up here and throw a full powder charge of 85 grains of double FG black powder. As before, a 11 gauge card wad goes down. Powder crunched a little bit. We're going to be using two thicknesses of patching. We have our pillow ticking patching, which we have used before, and a lighter canvas patch, both of which have been lubricated. So we put the heavier patch down, the lighter patch material over it, take our ball, index it in the grooves. Now this requires a little more force to seat this time, so we're about right so far as patching material. Now that's as it should be. That's about the right amount of friction we should be having. Okay? You cut through all this patch material, and yeah, it takes a sharp knife. Okay, you have a short starter. Goes down easily. Ramrod. That's good. There's a little rough spot in the bore. Okay, all the way down. We'll give it just a tap. Okay. So now we're going to prime. And I can actually see a little grain of powder sticking up there in the nipple, so we know we got it all the way up. Okay. And we're going to be ready to shoot. I'm going to shoot the target at 50 yards. Half cock. Full cock. And we shall see what we shall see. Bang. All right. Now that load had real recoil. That may be a bit much. I see they have smoldering patches out there on the lawn, so that's not necessarily a good sign. Because we completely destroyed our patching material on the last shot, we have cut back on the powder charge back to 80 grains again, and we're now using the cardboard wad and the cream of wheat filler between it and the double patched round ball. Okay, that also had, well, that kicked the shoulder pretty good, I guarantee you. This is another charge of 80 grains of powder, and the strike of the bullet is hitting high left, and when I dropped the powder charge 5 grains, it did drop down a bit, so I'm going to aim at the very bottom right of my 2-foot bullseye down there and see if we can get one on paper. of shooting with the Brunswick rifle was not successful. Nope. We did find out about some traditional problems that Brunswick rifles were always said to have had, and found out those to be true. And we did discharge 6 shots out of the rifle successfully without any failures to fire. And on our target at 50 yards, we had absolutely no hits. Now, one did crease the box right here, but it was aimed about 6 inches low. Plus, we found out, as frequently reported in the period, these rifles became more and more difficult to load after they were fired. And it became increasingly difficult after about shot 4 to seat the ball all the way down on the charge. And in fact, we had to pound the ramrod to get it all the way down. And this was done before. You see the kinks in this ramrod? That's exactly how they got there. Troops in the field trying to seat these balls. Okay. So, after about 6 shots and having no hits registered, we decided to go ahead and discontinue for the day, cast up some new balls, as well as clean the rifle, of course. Now, in cleaning the rifle, we found out some things, and I'm going to bring the camera up and show you the details. First off, a few details. The British nipples of the period, including the 1842 musket, used 1/4-inch shanks. So this is very handy if you have a ratchet set, because you can just use the 1/4-inch drive here. All right. Then an Allen wrench, and you have as good a tool to extract the nipple as you can ever hope for. Okay? So that's a way to get these nipples out, even if they happen to be very badly stuck. Now, this rifle barrel, as I mentioned, has a subchamber right back here. And when I went to clean it, I found I had a problem. This is the tip of a .30 caliber bristle brush, and I had this piece of patching on it, and it sheared off. It broke. So the way you extract it is to take a rod, and you put a tool like here. This has like a wood screw. And you screw it in, and then you use that to grab this cloth and pull any stuck patches and stuff out of the barrel. Now, there is an expedient field alternative. You can tease a little powder in here, replace the nipple, and shoot it out. Now, this shooting out of obstacles in the barrels can get right dangerous, as a matter of fact. If you have a charge stuck about here in the barrel, for example, and you try to shoot it out with a charge that's in the bore, it's going to ring this barrel, if not split it altogether. So don't do that. Now, so far as being able to hit the target, I'm going to have to reduce the height of this rear sight. So I'm going to take a Dremel tool and actually cut it down before we do the next shooting. But now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe. Goodbye, God bless, and see you next time.
Among my prize-winning books are Extreme Muzzleloading, Backyard Deer Hunting, Crossbow Hunting, and Practical Bow Fishing. And all of these are available as softcover and e-books. I have an 8-book e-book series out for 2013-14, including building or restoring your own muzzleloader. Now, the load that works best for hunting in this gun appears to be a charge of 80 grains of double FG Go-X black powder, a 1/4-inch cardboard wad, 30 grains of cream of wheat filler, and the patched belted ball. Now, you can get wads from Dixie Gun Works of Union City, Tennessee, and molds from Jeff Tanner in England. For more information on my books, blogs, and videos, you can go to my website at www.hoveysmith.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye, and God bless.